Hello, this is Keith Stewart from The Guardian, and I'm joined today by John Hicks, the editor of the official Xbox magazine. Hello, John.
Hello, Keith.
And we're going to look at 3 of the big launch games for Xbox One, and the first one we have chosen is
Forza Motorsport 5.
Yeah, and what did you think? I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it does, and I think it's very much. I think the code name for internal Microsoft code name for this was Flagship, and it's actually, and you can see why it's really showing off the kind of the graphical chops of the Xbox One. It's got it's 1080p, 60 frames a second. The cars are really beautifully modelled. The kind of the tracks are laser scanned. It looks fantastic. The shtick from Microsoft is they've gone down to the level of like modelling imperfections now. So it's not just about putting it in showroom condition. It's about kind of showing how the paint changes and all this kind of stuff. So it's a really impressive looking racer.
Yeah. And how does it handle as well? Because we've heard lots about we're going through now, and you seem to be doing quite well, even though I'm talking to you. But how does it handle with the new controller? Because we've heard lots about how the trigger buttons help your driving.
I was going to say, just at the point at which you said I'm driving well, somebody clattered me off. It's using the kind of the triggers that the Xbox One has, and kind of the impact triggers. So you sort of feel it. You feel the engine vibration through your fingers. You feel the kind of vibration in the road. It's a really it's a very subtle improvement, but it's a really impressive one. Like my take on the.
What are you doing?
Yeah, just rewinding back there. Yeah. So I mean, for all this is actually obviously this is it's very highly detailed racing simulation. It's kind of got that kind of like new racing game thing where you just press Y to rewind. So if you do stack it, it's not quite the end of the world. And as you see there,
are you going to drive forward at any point during this race? And what I like is obviously going back to the rumble through the sort of specific rumble, or they're called. I've forgotten what they're called. The impulse triggers, which have got rumble packs in each trigger. Turn 10 are talking about how they're really trying to get the feel, the communication between the tyres and the road and your own hands on the steering wheel, aren't they? That's what they're trying to capture, that sense of communication between you and the road surface, which most driving games obviously don't provide.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously it's because that's a level of feedback that previously consoles have just been incapable of delivering, and it is. I think the controller is one of the sort of the really excellent new additions to Xbox One, and this is the flagship title, so this kind of shows you exactly how here's how you can feel a car through the controller. Other titles will hopefully use it differently.
Let's have a look at another track and another car. Where are we, John?
We are at the Top Gear test track. So returning from I believe Forza 4 was where this was introduced. Obviously, it's an ongoing partnership with Top Gear. They've kind of gone a little bit further with it this time. There's a lot of sort of chat from the presenters. You get sort of these unskippable videos of Clarkson and May and Hammond kind of talking stuff up. And this one it's not just your straight, as you can see, it's not just the straight lap time thing. They've turned it into a representation of London and made it into a circuit race, which makes it considerably considerably harder. As you
just
see.
Smashed into Westminster Bridge, causing untold damage to. I mean, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? There are moments where you can sort of there are sort of moments like with FIFA 14. There are moments of photorealism where you're almost fooled into thinking it's real.
Yeah, absolutely, and and this one, I find this one a bit more credible because obviously, I've seen this track so many times. I think this is another one where they went out and they've got some sort of like laser scanning system for like maximum fidelity. and it's sort of beautifully created. You know, it's just got the track and the lighting and skid marks and everything like that. Obviously, like, I won't show this here, but obviously you can go back and like use the replay thing to kind of like pause it and go and kind of inspect it all in overpowering detail. And it's just a fantastically pretty thing. Of all the launch games, this is the one that you can kind of pick out and say and sort of really point at and go, look, this is how shiny the next generation is.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit earlier on about how there weren't that many. There was 14 courses, and there's only, people are saying, only 200 cars. Which, I mean, if you look at Gran Turismo 6, which is coming out on PS3, obviously in a month's time, then I think they're looking at 1,200-ish. Does that matter that it only has 200 cars?
I think it's a churlish thing to complain about. I can see why some people are a little bit irked about it. I mean, but equally I can see why they're not there. I mean, because this is new tech. This is everything's had to be rebuilt, so they can't just port the old stuff over because it was designed to appear at lower resolution.
Yeah.
And I think that's something Turn 10 have said, that they are, it's not. They're not purposefully withholding stuff. They're just still getting it up to speed.
Built it. Yeah.
I think the 200 cars you have got there's a really good spread. They've got open wheel racing now. I'm just going to rewind that one.
Okay. Let's pretend that never happened.
So they've got open wheel races. They've got a really good spread of cars. So you're not just getting 200 largely identical cars. You are getting quite a good spread. So I think. You're unlikely to get bored, and it's plenty, but it would be nice to see more, and ultimately, more will be added.
There will be more. There will be car packs, won't there? Yeah. So, would you say that this is essentially the best Xbox One game at launch?
I think it's the most technologically outstanding. I would say. I mean, I think personally, I've had more fun with Dead Rising, but that's because I'm happier cutting zombies in half than I am nailing that racing line. But this is definitely the most sort of impressive. This is the flagship.
Okay, so this is Forza Motorsport 5, one of the key games I think for Xbox One. And let's have a look. I think we should move on. Let's have a look at Dead Rising 3. So this is Dead Rising 3 by Capcom Vancouver, I think it is. So obviously development has moved away from Japan and is now in Canada. John, what do you think? What do you make of it? What's the idea of the game? What are you up to?
Well, the idea of the game is you are this chap Nick Ramos who's trapped in a city called Los Perditos, it's a Californian city. It's been struck by a zombie outbreak. This being the third game in the series, there's quite an established fiction now, so it's spawned by a parasite. There's this drug you can take to keep yourself cured. The basic thing with Dead Rising has always been there are a lot of zombies, and you have some very inventive ways to destroy them. This being on Xbox One, the number of zombies is really quite dramatically improved and increased rather, and there's
there we
still
go.
More. Yes, here we go. So this is I've just that's just done a bit of very basic weapon crafting with I think that was a crowbar and an axe to get a slightly more efficient way of chopping zombies in half.
Okay, they've kept that whole Blue Peter feel of let's make ourselves a ridiculous shopping trolley axe machine.
Very much so, yes. And and actually the zombies themselves they're kind of as I'm demonstrating here is that the damage you can do to the zombies is dramatically improved. Oh yes, look, they're all here. That's where I've chopped all their legs off. So
this is very much a family game.
Very much a family game. This is this basically replaced Kinect Sports in the lineup. And it's you versus hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies.
And it's open world as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's open world. It's the whole the first Dead Rising was set in a mall. The second one was set in a casino. This one's kind of opened it up, so you get this big chunk of city. There's kind of freeways connecting them. Actually, I should say it's all about dressing up has always been a key part of Dead Rising as well. So
shall I kill zombies or change my outfit?
Yeah. Well, it's all about that was the weapons locker. So yeah, it's all about building these elaborate weapons. So you find these blueprints so you can create stuff. This is the dressing up. And
this is something you've unlocked, isn't it?
Yes. So because I've completed it, I am rewarded with this fetching Mega Man outfit. So I think actually, let me see if I can get an appropriately Mega Man weapon as well. Actually, So yeah, it's all about, whilst they've tried to make it a bit grittier, a bit more serious. The aesthetic is a little bit closer to like The Walking Dead. It's still quite silly. Like you're still making ridiculous things and dressing up in ridiculous costumes, and the joy of it is just the fact that you can wipe out zillions of zombies with in just interesting and exciting ways. Actually, you can get a companion. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Okay. You can also rescue people and recruit them from here. That's
another sort of standard trope from this series. Yeah. Let's go outside. Let's see if we can kill something.
Yeah, let me just see if I can demonstrate the stairs for losers.
Oh, those zombies! Oh, don't kill Mega Man!
Oh, damn! I've dropped it. Sorry, no, I'll just beat them to death with this game's console. It's symptomatic of the whole launch experience. And you can
this really is console war.
Yeah. And as you see, this is actually like fairly quiet as Dead Rising 3 gets. There's some other bits sort of around about where you just get hundreds and hundreds of them swarming all over you. As the game goes on, you get these kind of different types. This guy, the fireman here, he's a bit tougher. He's still got an axe that'll hit you with. There's kind of like police zombies, that kind of stuff. So let me just go back and get this zappy thing that I made earlier on.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. That's better.
Yeah. So this is there we go.
Ah, yeah. I like it.
A bit slightly more authentically Mega Man, I think, as well. So there's and it's just all about kind of going. There's a story to kind of tie all this together, but it's all about just kind of it pinging backwards and forwards across this world, just like ploughing through as we're doing this car. This car's another example of the crafting system, actually.
This is pretty much how you drive through London, isn't it?
Yeah, I think regressively I can't get the kind of the gas firing torpedoes out the front, but that's pretty much it.
Well, and how much of it is there? Is it a big? You say you finished it. Is it what 20 hours of gaming?
Something like that. It's full of collectibles. Like I'm just looking up. This is one of the I'm failing to get here actually, but you can see on the mini map. From the word go. There's all these blueprints to collect. There's these I'm just going up here. There's these like collectible statues of Frank West from the first game. There's safe houses to clear out. That was what I was doing at the beginning. So it's got that kind of Assassin's Creed stroke Ubisofty style of just filling up the world with things for you to do and distractions and things.
And did you use at all the Smart Glass implementation? You can use Smart Glass to give you missions, can't you?
You can. It wasn't when I was playing it. The app wasn't available, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I've kind of used it in preview.
That is a fetching outfit.
It's pretty rad. So this is one of my favourites. Let me just go see if I can demonstrate the utterly implausible. Actually, I'm definitely not going to be able to find that thing. Never mind. Let me go and see if I can just find somebody to demonstrate the highly implausible flight move on.
Okay.
But what was I saying?
We were talking about Smart Glass.
Smart Glass. Oh yeah. So I haven't been able to try it, but yeah, basically you can. There you go.
Oh yes. Okay. You can just fly straight through them.
Yeah, or just headbutt them. So this is not a game that takes itself very seriously. And actually, I think the biggest problem I have with it actually is that it kind of alternates being this trivial with like trying to do like serious stuff, which is it's really not its forte.
Okay. So that's Dead Rising 3, and that's. It's a pretty good game, isn't it? It's a pretty good launch game.
Yeah. No, it's the most. I think it's the most enjoyable. It's the most kind of core gamey game. I think. Because it's just it's Dead Rising only better. The Smart Glass stuff where you can actually get calls on your real life phone to direct to missions. That's quite fun. The Kinect implementation, actually this car's a bit too good for this, but you're driving a normal car like zombies, just like kind of dog pilot, and you have to kind of, and they'll try and drag you out the window, and you kind of dislodge them by like shaking the controller.
Oh, so okay.
Which isn't the first time you use it. It feels like as ill-advised as like Six-Axis was back in the day. But actually, once you get used to it, I actually prefer it now. Like, so I turned it off and went back to standard QTEs, and I was like, actually, wait, the QTEs are horrible, and actually it actually makes sense to kind of shake them off. So the Kinect stuff is quite nicely done.
And I like the way that you've managed to get a slight dig at Sony. Into that. That's a well done there, John. Thank you. So that's Dead Rising 3.
Septima! Barbarians! Follow me!
So I am with John Blythe now from Official Xbox Magazine, who's going to show me Rise, Son of Rome.
Rise, the game that started out as a Kinect brawler in some years back, and now is a gamepad brawler.
And it's by Crytek, who have done the Crysis games, obviously, first-person shooters, and this is kind of a Roman version of Call of Duty, kind of, is it? It's sort of hack 'em up.
It's more kind of a Batman-style combat game, really. The Arkham Asylum basics of countering, blocking, attacking, and just pulling off some spectacular execution moves.
I like that. Is it very? I've heard. I mean, I've played this a tiny little bit myself so far, and it feels kind of quite quick-timey and quite choreographed.
The quick-time events, which you probably see. Okay, you have your basic combat, which involves spotting incoming attacks, which I didn't do just there, and then blocking it, opening them up with your attacks with your shield and sword. But once you've weakened them a bit, you'll get a little icon above the head, which means you can go in for the execution.
Yeah.
Now, the executions are what look a little bit quick-timey, but they're not fail and you have to do the whole fight again. The bonus you get from executions will be less if you don't hit the buttons.
I see.
So it's not an annoying repeat the boss battle.
Okay.
QTE.
Oh, that's okay then.
And also, you get to learn the execution animations. So instead of responding to the colours, you begin to think, I know what's coming up. And that's the only way you can get the legendary timings, because it's too fast to get it otherwise.
Okay.
It's actually really surprisingly satisfying.
What's going on here? There seems to be some sort of story. I mean, I don't really know the story behind Rise, so maybe we should explain the story, because it looks like there's been some sort of tragic murder in the swimming pool.
Oh, I don't think it's any real spoiler to say that you're a man who's looking for vengeance, and that probably means your family get killed, so we have just shown that.
Okay.
There's no other reason for vengeance, is there?
No, exactly. So he's very cross. And again, this is very much a family game from Microsoft here.
And the one surprising thing about this is that for a Crytek game, the makers of such terrible stories as Crysis, the story's actually really good. There's some really sort of solid performances in the characters that make it. Some good shouting after a good stab, and some of the villains are just pure boo-hiss pantomime stuff. It's great.
He's behind you.
Yeah, the Sons of the Emperor are, well, as you'd expect from the Sons of Nero, they're a pair of bollocks.
Naughty boys. Okay. I mean, visually, it's lovely, isn't it? The character animation, massively detailed, and the glinting on the armor and.
Yeah, and when it's smooth, it's beautiful. There are moments that you'll notice the frame rate just dipping out of 60, but I'm really into this game, even though I know it's got many flaws. Yeah. Well, I'd say not many flaws. I mean, there's some, apart from the brawling, which is perfect, there are moments where you have to mana turret, and you kind of go, really?
Yeah, I watched you earlier on, and there was in the turret sequence where you were shooting to try and defend your soldiers who were forming a line, and
it was honestly that moment of that game. I'd just come out of the second to last chapter, and I was so into it. I was thinking, this game's brilliant, it's a must-buy, I'm going to give it a great score. Then that happened, and I was, screw you, you're a 7.
And then, because you were almost, I think you were almost at the end, and then a battle elephant ran in and squashed them all.
You were so entertained with the caption, an elephant killed your men.
I had to take a photograph of it. So I presume it's got a story, and you go through Rome just basically hacking people for vengeance.
Yeah, the story is about 5 hours long, but there's also back to with the co-op Colosseum area where that bit's tailored a little bit more to microtransactions. You've got sort of you earn gold, but it trickles in quite slowly, and you've always got those booster packs full of randomised cards that make you think, well, can't I just buy something I want?
Yeah.
So
See,
Yeah.
this is a tricky dynamic, obviously, that FIFA brought in, its Ultimate Team, in that you bought. I mean, they're very much taking the Magic the Gathering idea.
Yes.
If you're buying trading packs, and then you look at what you've got, and of course
Which is all
that's-
very well if you can trade them, but I haven't seen that mechanic.
Yeah, yeah. So you're just ending up with lots of useless stuff you don't want. Which is it, I mean, were you comfortable with it? Could you ignore it?
I'm just innately uncomfortable with microtransactions, so it's making. I want to love the game, and that I find that's a little pushing me away a little bit.
Yeah.
But in some games, like Power Star Golf, the coins come in at a decent rate, so you don't really feel obliged to. But something like this, the coins were coming in quite slowly.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a reverse of the Roman model, which they got coins rather quickly in the Empire. What's going on here?
And that's just one of the ways in which this is unrealistic.
Yes.
On the fact
The
that
Roman economy doesn't match the microtransactions.
the other one is gods run up and touch you on your tit.
Oh right, oh, nice one.
She's
She's a god.
Yes, yeah, it's quite.
And look at the wind wafting through her rose head thing.
I think finally with the next gen we can do God's justice.
That's gonna be an advert quote.
Well, I was quite down on the indie games we've been looking at, so it's quite. This is good to be upbeat and sort of quite excited about a game.
Finally, we can do God's justice. Right, should we have another look at another bit of this game?
Yeah.
So this is the multiplayer Colosseum, is it? It looks like an S&M club.
Yes, it's very arousing. It's this is the Colosseum. It's quite an odd, futuristic feeling affair with a ground that sinks away and tiles dropping out to be replaced by just ramparts and obstacles. But I'm playing solo. You can play it solo.
Okay.
I did this because there's not many people online at the moment because it's before the console's out. So
So there
It's
could
very-
be like lots of other players here with you.
Two players.
Oh, yeah, two
It's
players.
two
Okay.
players.
Okay.
And yes, I wouldn't recommend playing it solo. It's very, very hard. You get the same amount of enemies off it, and you get overwhelmed very quickly. I mean, 4 people you can just about handle, but when you've got 8 around you and you're spending all your time blocking and you can't actually get back in and attack.
Is it sort of like a kind of siege, like horde mode, and that you just got to survive wave after wave? How does it work?
It's you get one wave. The first wave is
just stamp
always
on him.
something. Yeah,
Oh.
there you go. Hey, that interested the crowd. No, they're still disinterested. Oh, why didn't I execute there? I'm just not playing very well here.
I think it's because I'm blathering on at you about the Roman economy.
There you go. There's a little execution.
Oh, ow!
I've not finished with it yet, mate. One little more stab. So
It's like Monty Python. We'll call it a draw.
So at the end of one level, the bits drop out. One level's not the right word, but one sort of chapter of it, and then you get a new sort of objective. And here it is to stand on a piece of plinth and hang around there for a while.
Okay, so it's seamlessly themed slaughter.
It's kind of waves, yeah. So at other times you'll have to go and find. Well, I'm just getting.
It's kind of like a really clumsy pub fight out, on a student night where everyone's dressed as Romans or barbarians. So you wanted to show us this bit. Why was that?
Well, this bit just shows a little bit of the variety of places. This bit's where we come to Britain and we try to oppress King Oswald and his daughter, the lovely and Bechtel test failing Boudica.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just different. You do get a nice range of enemies through. There's not sort of like a huge range of enemies, but you do have to kind of mix up your style a little bit, even though there's not a massive depth to the combat and you don't really progress in terms of learning new combos.
Yeah.
You do. There's just something about the basic level and basic action that carries you through easily the 5 hours without ever getting bored.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think again, it's visually it's quite stunning, and it gives you a lot of visual feedback in terms of the sheer gratuitousness of the bloody demented violence.
Yeah, and you've got these guys with when you see the flashing red, that means they're about to come in with a heavy attack. And at first it says you can avoid that with a dodge roll, but that's kind of the coward's way out, because what you have to do is just do a perfectly timed block instead. And learning that's what makes you feel like you're actually, ooh, I'm in this now. Come on.
Visibly excited. And this is what I suspect this is what Dark Ages Britain was like, just huts full of fire.
Yeah.
That's how we lived.
Minotaur heads everywhere, wicker men popping up all over the place.
Is Edward Woodward going to walk on in a minute?
Yeah, he's well gutted.
Okay, well, I mean that's quite a lot that we've seen of Rise, Son of Rome, a kind of gory Roman version of Batman with lots of horrible finishing moves. Thank you very much, John, for showing this nightmarish vision of the past.
Thank you very much.